December 16th, 1944. The forests of the Ardennes are shrouded in fog and snow. Suddenly, German artillery unleashes thunder across the Allied lines. Hitler has launched his last desperate gamble, the Battle of the Bulge. Among the divisions pushing forward are troops of the Waffen-SS, men notorious for their fanatic loyalty and their brutal methods. Within hours, they commit one of the most infamous war crimes of the Western Front, the massacre of American prisoners near Malmedy. Behind these crimes stands a man, not the most brilliant of commanders, not the most educated officer, but one of Hitler's most loyal lieutenants, Sepp Dietrich. From a humble Bavarian childhood to the blood-stained fields of Europe, from bodyguard to general, from prison to an almost hero's funeral, his story is one of contradictions, loyalty, and crimes. Tonight, we will trace the life of Josef Sepp Dietrich, the soldier, the bodyguard, the war criminal, and the mythmaker. Prepare to journey through the rise and fall of a man who embodied the brutality of the Waffen-SS. Sepp Dietrich was born Josef Dietrich on May 28, 1892, in Hawangen, Bavaria. His father was a packmeister, a tradesman linked to the hop industry, essential for Bavaria's beer. His mother, Crescentia, was a devout Catholic. Contrary to later rumors of illegitimacy, he was a legitimate child and the eldest of 6 siblings. The family belonged to the aspiring middle class, neither wealthy nor poor. When Sepp was 8, they moved to the town of Kemp. His education ended after primary school. From then on, Sepp preferred farm labor and later wandered across Austria, Italy, and Switzerland, working odd jobs and absorbing the rough lessons of life. In Zurich, he worked in a hotel, acquiring a taste for order and hierarchy. This humble upbringing shaped him. Unlike polished, aristocratic officers, Dietrich was always a man of the people. Blunt, unsophisticated, yet reliable in loyalty. These qualities would later draw Hitler to him. In 1911, conscription briefly brought him into the Royal Bavarian Army, but a fall from a horse led to discharge. His later claims of being a decorated cavalry officer before the war were inventions. When the First World War erupted in 1914, Sepp re-enlisted. This time, he stayed. He fought with the Bavarian artillery in Belgium and France. Shrapnel wounded him in 1914, and again he was injured during the Somme battles. By 1917, he was attached to one of Germany's earliest tank units. By November 1918, Germany collapsed. The Kaiser abdicated, revolution spread, and soldiers trudged home defeated. Dietrich's 2 brothers had died, leaving him embittered. He found new purpose in the Freikorps. Right-wing militias used to suppress communist uprisings. Violence became not only survival, but ideology. Between 1919 and 1923, Bavaria was in chaos. A short-lived Soviet republic was crushed by militias. Dietrich joined the Freikorps, battling Poles in Silesia and suppressing uprisings. Soon after, he became a policeman in Munich, wearing a uniform again, but now enforcing order instead of revolution. In 1921, he married Barbara Adele. Their marriage was strained, partly because they never had children, and partly because Dietrich's ambitions grew restless. He later claimed he participated in Hitler's failed beer hall putsch of 1923, but records show he remained in the police at the time. This was the first of many myths he would spread about himself. By the late 1920s, he drifted through jobs, customs service, tobacco offices, finally, a gas station manager. Here, fate intervened. His employer was a Nazi. Through this connection, Dietrich would step into a movement that defined his life. On May 1st, 1928, Dietrich joined the Nazi Party. 5 days later, he joined the Schutzstaffel, the SS. At the time, the SS was little more than a small paramilitary group tasked with protecting Hitler. Dietrich quickly became part of Hitler's personal guard. For Hitler, Dietrich was perfect. Tough, loyal, unpretentious. Unlike Himmler, the cold ideologue, Dietrich was a soldier's soldier. He wasn't brilliant, but he was trustworthy. By 1930, Dietrich was elected to the Reichstag as a Nazi deputy. His rise was due not to intellect, but to proximity to Hitler. Photographs of Hitler's rallies often show Dietrich close behind, expression firm, ever watchful. Over time, their informal relationship became legendary. Dietrich called Hitler mein Führer, but in private could speak with familiarity. Others dared not. This closeness ensured his survival in Nazi politics. By 1934, Hitler faced a problem. Ernst Röhm's SA had grown into a rival army. Fearing Röhm's ambitions, Hitler ordered a purge. On June 29th, he handed Dietrich a list of names. Sepp hesitated. Some were old comrades, but he obeyed. His SS squad executed targets, though in one case killed the wrong man, a music critic mistaken for another Schmidt. For his obedience, Hitler promoted him. From that moment, Dietrich's loyalty was beyond doubt. He had killed for Hitler, and Hitler had rewarded him. The purge destroyed the SA's leadership, cemented Hitler's control, and elevated the SS. Dietrich's unit, the Leibstandarte, became a unique formation, both bodyguard and elite military arm. It would grow into a division that marched across Europe. In 1938, the Leibstandarte paraded into Austria during the Anschluss, greeted by cheering crowds. Later that year, they entered the Sudetenland. In March 1939, they marched into Prague. Dietrich's men were now both symbols and soldiers. War came in 1939 with Poland, where their brutality was noted. In 1940, they fought in the Netherlands, Belgium, and France. During the Dunkirk encirclement, they were implicated in the Wormhout massacre, where 81 British and French prisoners were locked in a barn and murdered with grenades and gunfire. Survivors' testimonies painted a grim picture. Dietrich himself may not have ordered it, but as commander, responsibility was his. Yet instead of punishment, he was awarded the Knight's Cross for his battlefield role. This paradox defined him. Crimes overlooked, loyalty rewarded. In June 1941, Operation Barbarossa began. Dietrich's Leibstandarte fought under Army Group South, pushing into Ukraine. Early victories were staggering. Kiev fell. Thousands of Soviet prisoners were taken. Dietrich, however, voiced doubts. He told fellow commanders that conquering Russia was impossible. The distances, the manpower, the cold, all insurmountable. Yet he continued the campaign, leading men through Mariupol, Taganrog, and Rostov. By winter, frostbite and exhaustion crippled the division. In 1943, they fought at Kharkov and Kursk. The largest tank battle in history ended in Soviet victory. Dietrich increasingly knew the war was lost, but like many, he carried out Hitler's orders, even when he disagreed. After Italy collapsed in 1943, Dietrich briefly operated there. By 1944, he returned to France. On June 6th, D-Day began. Dietrich, in Brussels, rushed to Normandy. Ordered to drive the Allies into the sea, he left without his radio. A stunning blunder. Rundstedt mocked him. A panzer commander without a radio is like a soldier without a head. Hitler still trusted him. After the failed July 20th plot against Hitler, Dietrich was promoted to command the 6th Panzer Army. Competence mattered less than loyalty. For Hitler, Dietrich embodied both. But his performance in Normandy and beyond showed his limitations. Brave, loyal, but not a strategist. December 16th, 1944. Hitler's last gamble. The Ardennes offensive aimed to split the Allies and capture Antwerp. Dietrich's 6th Panzer Army led the attack. He warned Hitler the terrain was wrong for tanks, but he obeyed. On December 17th, his men executed prisoners at Büllingen. Hours later, near Malmedy, troops under Jochen Peiper massacred 84 surrendered Americans. Survivors escaped to tell the story. The massacre outraged the Allies and hardened their will. Dietrich was not present, but as commander he bore responsibility. The shadow of Malmedy would follow him to his grave. In March 1945, Dietrich's army launched Operation Spring Awakening in Hungary, seeking oil near Lake Balaton. At first successful, it collapsed under Soviet counterattacks. We are the 6th Panzer Army because we have only 6 panzers left, Dietrich joked bitterly. By April, Vienna fell. Ordered to defend, Dietrich declared it hopeless. In early May, as Berlin fell and Hitler was dead, Dietrich retreated into Austria. On May 9th, he surrendered to American troops. The war was over, but justice was only beginning. Dietrich was arrested and interrogated. He tried to appear moderate, blaming Himmler and claiming he was just a soldier. But prosecutors focused on Malmedy. In 1946, he was sentenced to life imprisonment. Later, it was reduced to 25 years, and he was released in 1955 after serving 10. Soon after, he faced trial again for the Night of the Long Knives. Convicted, he returned to prison only to be released in 1959 due to poor health. He died in 1966, aged 73, of a heart attack. His funeral in Ludwigsburg drew 6 Ulster mourners, many former SS, who sang band songs and draped his coffin with an Iron Cross flag. It was a chilling reminder that denazification was incomplete. Sepp Dietrich's life is not that of a brilliant strategist, but of a loyal enforcer. From farm boy to Hitler's bodyguard, from elite commander to convicted criminal, his path was carved by loyalty, not talent. His divisions committed atrocities from Wormhout to Malmedy, leaving a legacy of brutality. He tried to rewrite his life as that of a soldier following orders, but history reminds us orders followed blindly can still make one guilty. Dietrich was not a mastermind of ideology, but he was a willing instrument of it. Thank you for watching this deep exploration of Sepp Dietrich's life. If you found this documentary valuable, please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Your support helps us bring more untold histories to light. Until next time, stay curious and keep history alive.